The arena of Unity shimmered beneath the artificial starlight of Othel Prime, its domed structure designed to inspire awe among the interstellar elite. Inside, beneath banners of countless worlds, ambassadors, soldiers, and scholars mingled in uneasy peace. For most, this was diplomacy. For others, a waiting war. Leah Moreau stepped carefully across the marble-like floor, her pale boots clicking softly. She clutched a datapad against her chest, scanning the room with wide, alert eyes. Barely 22, she wasn't meant to speak, just observe, record, learn. That was the deal. But she'd insisted on being here. Earth needed younger voices, her mentor had said. Hopeful ones. Across the chamber loomed Vorkthal, a Kravik Thor war clone standing over 8 feet tall. Plates of blackened exosteel armored his flesh, and deep red biolights pulsed from between the seams. He stood with arms folded like an idle executioner, his face unreadable beneath the helmet's predator visor. The Kravik had not known defeat in generations, and he moved with the confidence of a species that had never needed to apologize. Leah's eyes lingered on him longer than she meant to. "Don't stare," her colleague murmured beside her, a tall diplomat from Luna named Karen Duval. They read it as a challenge. "I wasn't staring," Leah replied. She was. She didn't like bullies. A chorus of voices broke out near the center of the room, 2 envoys, one Avaxi, one Trelgan, arguing over territory rights in a distant sector. Their translators hissed and clicked, a cacophony of alien syntax twisting into heated accusations. The Kravik watched them with disdain, but said nothing. Leah took a breath. No one else moved. She stepped forward. "Esteemed delegates," she began, voice clear, Article 7 of the Coalition Peace Accord calls for an immediate cessation of verbal aggression in open council. All eyes turned. Some narrowed. Some widened. "Who is this child?" the Avaxi rasped, all tendrils and translucent skin. "She speaks out of turn," growled the Trelgan, its eye stalks writhing. Vorkthal stepped forward. "The human girl speaks without authority," he announced, his voice metallic and guttural. "She is decoration. Let her remain silent." Leah didn't flinch. Respecting the accord is everyone's duty. Gasps rippled across the room. Duval reached for her arm, too late. Vorkthal moved like a hammer loosed from orbit. He crossed the distance between them in 2 strides. His hand, if it could be called that, crackled with kinetic pressure. He backhanded her without pause, without ceremony, without rage. Just decision. A sickening crunch echoed as her body flew across the chamber and collided with a crystalline pillar. Blood blossomed across her forehead. She crumpled. Still. Silence devoured the room. Duval screamed. No one else moved. Not the guards. Not the diplomats. Not even the Kravik. "She is fragile," Vorkthal said, as though noting the weather. "Her form could not bear correction." The Kravik turned and resumed his stance. Leah's datapad clattered to the floor, untouched, flickering with half-written notes on peace protocols and interspecies empathy. No one retrieved it. In the stillness, something darker than shock began to take root, something cold and slow-burning, like the edge of a star preparing to flare. But in that moment, nothing burned. Not yet. The footage spread faster than light. By the time Leah's body reached Earth, her final moments had been seen on every colony, station, and freighter from Sol to the Helix Verge. The feed, uncut, unfiltered, played over and over, her voice steady, her posture upright, her skull cracking beneath the casual swing of a Kravik hand. No warning. No provocation. No justice. Captain Eric Vance watched it once. That was enough. He smashed the screen with a fist before the replay could begin again, shards embedding into his knuckles. The pain helped him breathe. She had called him 2 days before the summit. Just to talk. Just to ask if he thought she was ready. He'd told her she was born ready. Now he couldn't even remember her voice without hearing the break in it as her body hit the pillar. They gave him a coffin. Sealed. Sterile. Government issue. They didn't want him to see what the Kravik had left behind. He pried it open anyway. There wasn't much left of her face. Eric didn't cry. That part of him had withered in the trenches of Titan, drowned under orbital fire on the moons of Caesarea. He hadn't bled in years, not until today. Leah had been the one soft part he had left. She had made him feel human. Now she was gone. And the coalition? They issued a statement. Cultural misunderstanding, they said. Diplomatic immunity. No intention to offend. An apology without punishment. A wound without treatment. Earth's delegation demanded censure. The Kravik laughed. In the streets of New Geneva, 1 million humans marched. In orbit, protest ships blocked trade routes. But nothing changed. Leah's name became a chant. A banner. A hashtag. To Eric, it became a promise. He went to command the next morning. Full dress. Medals polished. Expression unreadable. I want reinstatement. Special Operations Clearance. Kravik Target Authorization. Admiral Chen barely looked up. Request denied. You're retired. We're trying not to start a war. They already did. The coalition won't allow a strike. I'm not asking. He walked out before they could respond. That night, he returned to his old bunker beneath the Andes. The systems still recognized his bioprint. Inside, the relics of his past life lay sealed in lockers: exorig, Black Ops blade, stealth mesh. All outlawed now. All operational. He took his time. He built a ship from pieces, silent, illegal, invisible to coalition senses. A ghost. He named it Ashling, after the old word for dream. Or maybe grief. He wasn't sure anymore. Eric sat in the cockpit, suit sealed, blade at his side, and pulled up the footage one last time. Paused it. Leah's eyes, wide. Brave. Knowing. He whispered, I'm sorry. And launched. 3 jumps. For system relays. He didn't care about hiding. Let them try to stop him. He reached Othel Prime within a cycle. The arena of unity was preparing for another summit, business as usual, death forgotten. Vorkthal was scheduled to speak. Eric watched the lights of the station flicker against the darkness of space. Cold. Indifferent. Like everything else. He checked his blade. He didn't need to win. He just needed to reach him. Leah's voice echoed in his memory, soft and teasing, you're always ready to fight. Try being the one who listens for once. I listened, he muttered, rising. No one else did. Inside the arena, the chamber was filling again. Delegates laughed. Drones hovered, recording. Vorkthal stood at the center, arms wide, already speaking. Eric moved through the shadows, unseen. Every step was a lifetime. No alarms. No warning. Just the low hum of vengeance. He reached the edge of the stage and looked up. There he was. Leah's killer. Still proud. Still unpunished. Eric smiled without warmth. His hand brushed the blade. Soon. The lights above the arena burned white and sterile, washing the room in clarity that revealed everything and forgave nothing. Delegates from 100 species filled the balconies, their faces dispassionate, bored, indifferent. Below, Vorkthal stood center stage, casting a long shadow across the marble floor, his voice booming with false reverence. The Kravik Thor offer peace to those who understand order, he declared. Peace through discipline. Peace through strength. Eric Vance stepped forward from the shadows. No announcements. No warning. Just the sound of his boots striking the floor like a countdown. Delegates turned. Murmurs began. Security drones buzzed. Vorkthal's head tilted slightly. You. Human. Eric stopped 10 paces away. Captain Eric Vance, Earth Armed Forces. Retired. You are not sanctioned to be here. I'm not here for diplomacy. One movement, Eric pulled open his coat. Strapped to his chest, a small black device blinked red. The murmurs snapped into panic. Some delegates scrambled. The Kravik remained still. Thermal core bomb, Eric said calmly. Dead man trigger in my grip. 60 seconds if I let go. The arena froze. You'd threatened the coalition for vengeance. Vorkthal asked, stepping down from the dais. Typical human irrationality. You killed her, Eric said. In front of everyone. And you walked away. She was fragile. Her species is fragile. Eric's jaw clenched. We may break. But we remember. He tossed something onto the floor. Leah's crushed datapad, its screen flickering. Vorkthal looked down. She challenged me. I responded with efficiency. You don't understand humans, Eric said. We are not efficient. We are not logical. We love hard. We grieve long. And when you hurt one of us. He drew the nanoblade from his back. It extended silently, shimmering with energy. We come for you. Vorkthal laughed, deep and cruel. You think you can harm me, little soldier? I don't think, Eric said, and charged. The Kravik swung first, a piston-like arm aimed to crush. Eric ducked, rolled, slashed, blade tearing through exosteel like silk. Vorkthal roared, staggering, a glowing gash across his thigh. Delegates gasped. Some began to film. Eric moved like fury made flesh, years of war compressed into seconds. He struck again and again, avoiding the massive fists, slipping past every predictable blow. The nanoblade plunged into Vorkthal's side, then again into his shoulder. The Kravik fell to one knee, blood hissing from the wounds. You are nothing. Eric stepped close, pressing the blade under his jaw. She believed in peace. I don't. He drove the blade upward, slicing through armor, bone, and brainstem. Vorkthal convulsed, then crumpled, lifeless. The arena was silent. Eric stood over the body, breathing hard. Then, deliberately, he released the bomb's trigger. The blinking stopped. He tossed the device aside. I didn't come here to die, he said to the watching crowd. I came to remind you, humanity is not prey. We remember. We answer. He turned and walked out, boots echoing in the stunned silence. Some would call it an act of terror. Others would call it justice. Either way, it was done. And the galaxy would never see humans the same again. News feeds across the galaxy erupted before Eric's boots left the arena floor. Some called it assassination, others martyrdom. But on Earth, and in the quiet corners of human space, they called it reckoning. The footage of the kill spread faster than Leah's death had. This time, the human was not the victim. He was the storm. In the days that followed, diplomatic lines surged with static and panic. Coalition representatives demanded answers. The Kravik Thor shrieked for blood, calling Eric a terrorist, a traitor, a criminal. But they couldn't agree on what to do. He had acted alone. Earth hadn't sanctioned him. The bomb had been real, but never detonated. Technically, it wasn't a war. And yet, something had shifted. On the outskirts of Earth's influence, smaller species reached out, quietly, cautiously. They sent encrypted messages, hushed calls for alliance, admissions of long-held fear. The Kravik had ruled by intimidation. Now, they bled like anyone else. Eric Vance had proven that. From the shadows, a new conversation began, one not of treaties and concessions, but of resistance, autonomy, and strength born from pain. Eric didn't know any of this. He drifted in the Ashling, engines silent, deep in a dead zone between star roots. He hadn't bothered to mask his trail. If someone came for him, so be it. He had made peace with what he'd done. There was nothing else to live for. But someone came. A small civilian courier, unarmed, unthreatening, docked beside him. He watched its approach from the cockpit, hand on his blade, tired eyes narrowed. The airlock hissed. He didn't expect Karen Duval. She stepped aboard without invitation, clad in black, her expression unreadable. You should have stayed on Earth, Eric said. I should have stopped her from standing up that day, she replied. Neither said the other's name. She handed him a data chip. It's already begun. Smaller worlds are speaking out. The Kravik are rattled. You cracked something. I wasn't trying to lead anything. Doesn't matter. They're following you anyway. He turned the chip over in his hand. What's on this? Names. Coordinates. Systems where the Kravik still own the sky. And species ready to take it back. I'm not your hero, he said flatly. We don't need a hero. We need someone who doesn't wait for permission. Silence settled between them, heavy and complex. Karen moved to leave, then paused. She would have hated what you did. I know. But I think she'd be proud of why. Eric watched her go. When the courier detached and vanished into the black, he sat alone in the silence. Outside his viewport, stars shifted. Old wars hummed beneath the skin of the universe, waiting to be woken. He inserted the data chip. Maps unfolded. Names lit up. Injustices too long endured. He didn't smile. But something inside him stirred, something that had died with Leah and been reborn in the blood of her killer. Maybe this wasn't the end after all. Maybe it was the beginning.